A lot of things have to be really corrected in terms of how we are hiring people.
If you are the CEO of your own company, will you hire yourself?
I cannot work in this location. I cannot work for this salary.
My own salary was about joining Mosul 1100 rupees a month.
And that gives you a lot of courage, self-confidence when you can say that I have to own my choice.
The employee takes the company for granted, or the company takes the employee for granted.
It's a similar situation like a person to whom the doctor has said that you need to get admitted, you don't bargain.
How much money and time companies spend talking about frontline workers?
Do you think this also has an impact on the job market?
And if the job suits them, the best person should get the job.
Could you throw some light on some causes which have really touched your heart and you thought that you were really in the right place?
We came to Hyderabad, met some people. Everybody told us, don't be stupid, don't join this industry, it is not fit for you.
Good morning, everyone. We are again back here with our another legendary conversation, which you will find that how people from diverse backgrounds, they come into the fields, they exhibit, their talents, they learn, they teach, and that's how the journey becomes very enriching. Today, we are going to meet yet another person who is an inspiration by himself, who has been there in the journey of entrepreneurship. 36 years and 33 years, his organization has been old enough where he is exhibited. He's got 2,500 plus employees working, including the full-time and others. While I would say that from a human resource, profession towards being an entrepreneur, how has been your journey is what we will get to know while we speak to him. So please welcome Mr. T. Muralitharan, who is here. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So with our first starting question, I think I would try to ask you a way where, how your journey began. How did you think about, being into talent management, talent acquisition, human resource side of it? Why only that? Why not anything else?
Yeah, actually, before that, there's an even more interesting story, because I think people remember stories well. How I got into entrepreneurship itself is a story.
Oh.
I come from a family of all government employees. My father was in railways. My father-in-law was in IAS. So everybody in our family had never been in business. And after I went to IIT, IIM, I got a job in Mumbai in a very multinational. I was doing very well. So there was absolutely zero possibility of me going into entrepreneurship. If you had to look at 1987. 1987, sometime I went and met my future partner, and we'd gone to his house, me and my wife. He was living in Juhu in Bombay. And there was a conversation going on late in the night, and he was saying, look, I am very depressed. And I asked him why. He said, look, somebody retired from Hindustan Lever. He was working for Hindustan Lever. Now it's called Unilever. After 32 years of service as a sales officer. And I feel that what is the point in working? Because anyway, you retire one day and then your entire life goes to somebody else. Why can't we do something on our own? I said, yeah, it's interesting. Then we said, what business do we want to do? He said, let's do seed business. He's an agriculture graduate. And he was IIM Ahmedabad batchmate of mine. He went and joined Levers. So I said, I don't know anything about agriculture. I don't know anything about seeds. I'm a chemical engineer. He said, no, let's go to Hyderabad. Talk to some of the people. Hyderabad is the center of seeds at that time, 87, 88. So we came to Hyderabad, met some people. Everybody told us, don't be stupid, don't join this industry, it is not fit for you. And while going back in the train to Mumbai, we were discussing, see, these guys are so scared of us. We're all superstars, IIM, IIT, so we're coming in and they're scared of us. So we went back to Bombay. 1 week later, he calls me, he said, I've resigned from my job. I said, what? Yeah, I've resigned from my job. He said, why did you resign from the job? He said, look, I thought we agreed we were going to start the business. I said, I never agreed. We are only discussing, and everybody said, you're stupid to start the business. No, I thought you agreed I resigned. I said, no, I think you should talk to your company and take it back. It's not going to work for me. He said, look, there's a rule in Levers. Once you resign, the same day they give accepted resignation letter. He was doing extremely well. He would have been probably a director of Levers at the time. And he was already married, he got a child. I said, why did you do that? Because you didn't ask me before resigning. He said, I don't know, I resigned. Now I'm going to start this and you promised to come. And I said, okay. I can't do anything. So I went to my managing director of Nusil where I was working and I told him I want to go. He said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to start a seed business. Are you stupid? He asked me. I said, yeah, what to do? And my partner says he's taken my commitment and he's gone. He resigned. He just tore my resignation letter. And he said, forget it. You are unfit to be in that business. But you do one thing, you stay for some time and come back to me. If you still want to feel so strongly about it, we'll talk about it. So I agreed with my partner, Nakadawala, who's still in Hyderabad. He came to Hyderabad in 87 and I paid 50% of my salary, what I was earning in Bombay, to him because we had no money, we had no saving. Finally, 6 months later, my MD finally accepted my resignation letter. And I came to Hyderabad to join my partner Nakadawala in seed business. And 3 years, it was a very difficult journey. And I didn't understand much of agriculture. Even today, I can't understand wheat and paddy difference on the ground. If you see the field, I can't make out what is what. So 3 years was a difficult journey, and we decided, okay, we'll quit. It's not working, and it's almost. We went to a Iranian shop for a cup of tea to sign off on partnership. At that time, he reminded me of another commitment I made to his father. His father called me before starting a business saying, my son is very young, and his son is only 1 year younger to me. But he said, my son is very young and he's very vulnerable, so you cannot leave him for 1,000 days. You have to commit to stay with him for 1,000 days. So he reminded me, then we were about 940 days or so, we have completed. Another 60 days were left.
Interesting.
So I told him, yeah, let's do one thing, let's complete it. Yeah, why waste? We already won this far. Why break a commitment? In 60 days' time, 2 people came into our life. Both of them are friends of my wife, Lalita. One is a guy who was working in a journalist. He came to our office and said, why don't you guys start an advertising? I know something about copywriting. Let's start an advertising. And another person who later on became an IAS officer came to my office and said, I'm in between my IAS and I want to make a phone call. I said, what will you do? He said, I'll call some people. If they get a job, I get money. I said, what is this business? It's called recruiting business. Oh, I didn't know what this business was. He came, both of them joined in 60 days' time. And Nakadawala started focusing on the advertising. I started focusing on the recruiting. And that's how we come to talent management space. So that was not planned, nothing. Just first one was so-called planning, which went wrong. The second one was complete serendipity. People walked into our life and both of them left us. And we were left holding the baby. Then we still built, Nakadawala is still in the advertising business. I'm still in the recruiting business. And in 1991, we decided to shut down the seed business and completely reformulate the company, the private limited company. That was yesterday was the foundation day or formation day. So that's how the journey. Life doesn't tell you everything what's going to happen.
Right, right. Yeah. And what an interesting thing that after, you go with the flow and then you get something on the way and then you accept it with whole heart, give your 100%. And there you stand after 33 years, so proud of, handling that in a way and with the mindset which was so positive. How does it feel?
Yeah,
are you satisfied?
No. In many ways, I think life teaches you lessons, and how smart you are to accept those lessons are important. For example, when I started seed business and why we failed, partly was because we were trying to run it like an IAM company. And we were piddly, no money, we had no money, no saving. We started the company as 50,000 rupees equity, 25,000 each. And then also we exhausted when we lost the money. So all the imagination about your own competence all goes away when you fail. In fact, I would say the seed business has been the greatest contributor to my life to tell you that your qualifications are not worth it. If the reality is that how you deliver, how do you make sense out of what's happening around you. So I think it was the wrong choice, but in retrospect, I think it put me on the ground. So 33 years later, yes, it's been a great journey. And I would say that I'm very, very delighted because this is one business where you can be sustainable and make some money, but more importantly, you can leave a lasting impression on many people. For example, if you look at any business, I think we need 3 things. One is entrepreneurship, second is money, and third is manpower. If you don't have these 3, customers won't come, products won't come. These people generate all the 3. We are one of the 3 critical components required for any business. And life has been very good. I've been lucky to travel. We have 400 customers. We work with variety of customers. We went on expanding our business. Our journey has also been very exciting. Last every year of innovation. So I would say go back in time and say, would you like to do it differently? Maybe yes. Maybe you would have started larger scale. We started at a very low scale. You already lost money. So you had a very big deficiency mindset when you started as a micro entrepreneur. And then you build slowly, little by little. So we have taken much longer to reach where we are. If I had to do it again, I would probably start at a scale, more funding with all our connections. We would have got funding and maybe chosen a business where funding is available. Yesterday, I think the good story was told by Mr. Mohan Reddy, and he started at the same time as us. And he's a $1 billion company. And we should know where there. The only difference, if I had to look back, if I started an IT company, I would have also been a success because I could have done the ITC business at the same intensity which I'm doing here. Only business, I think, one retrospectively, I have to say, if I have to start a business now, I'll start a global business. I will not start an India center.
Very nice. I think this is one learning which would take an entrepreneur many folds to understand what actually came up with a flow and what additionally we could have done little different, and what is that that we can still add into the flavor to go in a better speed. So if I may ask you as to on the way going, there are a lot of purposes, a lot of causes that you've also worked on. Could you throw some light on some causes which have really touched your heart and you thought that you were really in the right place to build up and work on your cause?
No, I think the most important cause is, of course, unemployment. I think I've been talking about youth unemployment and I've been writing about it. I've written 2 books on it, how to find. Today, I think the bigger challenge is parents are lousy counselors for their children. They don't understand the children. They don't understand the future of job market. So they push children to go into various kind of education, various kind of roles with no reality check on what's actually going to happen 10 years from now. If you are doing, for example, career counseling or job counseling, you must be able to look at the future of job, future of work, and future of the industry, and then guide people. So what I found is, in my experience, youth are completely misguided in this country. They don't know what they want to do. That I can understand because I didn't know what I want to do. But they don't know what are the options available. What is the consequence of choosing an option? For example, there's a consequence of choosing an entrepreneurship. Right? Like we made some choices. I could have been in industry, I would have been probably MD, chairman of some company, would have come with some lifestyle. So I think the cause which is really closer to my heart is that we are having such a large number of young people in this country. Our median age is about 28 right now. And the so-called demographic dividend is definitely slipping away from us because we're not able to find jobs for them. Youths are not counseled properly. Youths are making a lot of expectations of what kind of salary they want, what job they want. There's a mismatch in the job market. And employment market is not expanding. Actually, there's a real evidence to show that India's GDP growth has actually not added to jobs. Though there's a lot of effort from the current government to formalize the jobs. Formalization means the people get a salary income, and more formal means you get PF, gratuity, etc., etc. So there has been more formalization lately, but the new job creation is not happening. So effectively, I believe youth should be the story, and every one of us, including you, me, everybody else, we have to take ownership for this problem. You cannot leave it to somebody else to sort it out because the numbers are huge. And if you miss the generation, will be lost. One generation will go by the time we find solutions.
Yeah, I think I primarily agree with you that the whole job market has changed because the attitude of the people who are coming for the interviews, the sincerity in how badly they need a job has lost its sanctity because everyone comes with an expectation of money and not about developing skills. What is it like in the stage where we were told that in the first 5 to 10 years, if you're given your best and if you're learning, then there's no looking back on excellence, and then money will follow you. But in the today's youth generation, wherever we are seeing, they come with, okay, I cannot work in this location, I cannot work for this salary, this is the minimum that I need. I want work from home for 2 days. They have a lot of pre-choices that they have made, and because of that, one, there are less jobs. Second, you don't get the right fit, and third, even if they have come into it, their attitude doesn't match with the temperament of the cultures in the organization. So probably they are not sticking to one job for a long time. They are hopping it because the pressure creates. A lot of it is expected out of them. They have overcommitted that they would do, and now they are not able to cope up with the skills. So yeah, very true, very truly that we all are responsible some way or the other to motivate and give right guidance so that at least our teams, what we have, we could actually guide them well and we can treat them the way that they can develop their excellence. So do you think
One question we need to ask: where did the attitude come from? You said our generation didn't know the attitude. This generation seems to be having the attitude. Where did it come from? It comes from parents. Please understand, we have all failed as parents. And the community, I'm not talking about individual exceptions. There might be some exceptions in the story. But the parents are extrapolating from their own life. Some parents are poor or they haven't got a good job. They want a better job for their children without understanding they need a competence. And second, the parents are also not able to provide the experiences for the child. Some of the things are in a nuclear family, children are got protected, and mother and the son believe. For example, we know many cases the mother decides what role the son should do, first job. You'll be surprised how much influence parents have on the girls and boys. Second is, of course, the peer group. How do the peer group influence? Because of what they read, what they see. So one of the main second big factor, I think, is the media. What the media does is to convert an exception as the rule. For example, when you report that IIM Ahmedabad alumni got some 60 lakh salary, that's an exception. Not every IIM Ahmedabad guy gets 60 lakh rupees. Most of them at entry level get about 15 lakhs, 20 lakh rupees. But the story is presented as 60 lakhs and everybody thinks I am entitled for 60 lakhs. So the media has also converted an exception to the rule. See, the rule is something, exception is something. So combination of peer, combination of parental failure, I would say very strong failure on instilling these values of wait, earn, contribute, right? You earn your salary by contributing. This process has to come from the parents. And I think that's something we should reflect on. I think I keep saying, fortunately or unfortunately, I have no children. So I can't speak from a parent standpoint. But I counsel a lot of children. But I find that many of the parents have failed. And some parents have succeeded. They've instilled the values of where they came from. Let me give you one simple idiom, which most of the parents tell me, which is absolutely wrong. Every parent said, I want my son to have a better life than me. I think that is bullshit. Because we've had a good time. Whenever we have come struggled in life, that struggle has made us where we are. You say my child should not have the struggle, and then say the child is now misbehaving, it's your choice. So why should, if you are happy with wherever you are in life and you are struggling to reach where you are, why should a child have a better life than you? What for? And that's why parents mollycoddle the children, they send them by cars, they send them by buses. You don't see the reality of life. And suddenly they form their opinion by the peer group they meet, the kind of peer group. For example, many parents don't understand the impact of peer group, how to choose the right peer group for their children. Some parents have asked me, what can I do as a parent? Just focus on getting the right peer group with your child. Look at their friends, what kind of lifestyle they have, what kind of money they have, what values they have, and make sure they are the right group. That determines 80% of value system. Right? So in a way, I would say we are in a generational shift. And I believe that parents have to take responsibility. So whatever young people, a 21-year-old boy comes with a wrong attitude to an interview, obviously he has to take ownership. He's an adult. But behind that are the choice of peer group where he interacts with and the parents whom he doesn't have a choice.
There's a strong saying that the seed is there, the seed is given there, and that's the reason it is coming out as a plant. Okay. That's quite an insight. Do you think that we could ever, change, and this change has brought more entrepreneurs? So, since people are not ready to work under someone because of those attitudes, they have become more entrepreneurs, and that's how we are getting more entrepreneurs now. But they are like failing as entrepreneurs, but they are starting very early so that they get more time to experiment and come up well. Is it positive in that way?
No, I don't think so. For example, if you don't know how to be an employee, you can't be an entrepreneur. First rule is to have discipline yourself, because I've been very much vocal about it. The whole startup system has failed significantly, except for some exceptional stories we tell. People always talk about success stories, but actually, for every one success, there may be 100 failures. If you study the failures, you realize people who have worked for a longer time, like me, I worked for 7 years in a job. My attitude when I started entrepreneurship is very simple. Two things were there. One, I will lead by example on my discipline, the way I work, the way I come to office. For example, I never played golf in my life. I became a golf member 35 years ago. And first thing they told me is you have to come in the morning and play golf. And I realized if I go to golf course and come home, I will be going to office half an hour, 1 hour late. I said, I don't want to go. Because as an entrepreneur, as an employee, I knew I had to go to office at 9. So I think the key to employment and entrepreneurship is discipline. Key to entrepreneurship is to be able to set the right expectations on yourself before you set it on others, and lead by example, right? And all this don't come if you become a startup with some, whether you are from IIT or wherever it is. So I think these are severe limitations of the current system. We have a very wrong impression that don't be employee, become a job creator. I think it's a very nice slogan to use. But I would say be an employee first and then become a job creator. Yes, it makes sense to me, right? So yes, entrepreneurship is important. We need to have more job creators, but don't expect them to come from colleges. Already I talked about parental negative influence on the children, especially good engineering colleges. They all parents have also put a lot of thoughts in the children's mind that you are entitled. Entitlement mindset comes from parents. And when they go into entrepreneurship, suddenly they realize they're not able to attract a single employee to work for them. First challenge in all entrepreneurs is getting the first employee. When I hired the first employee, I struggled for months to get the first employee on board. And they don't know how to get the first employee. And how do we distinguish between my role and the employee's role? And how do I work collaboratively with the employee to create that? So many things are there in entrepreneurship. So in my mind, entrepreneurship of youngsters without experience is a liability. And in fact, if you look at the micro sector, micro employment, micro and small medium sector, the classic example is the vegetable vendor on the street. She's a classic example of a micro entrepreneur who doesn't want to be an entrepreneur, but she has no choice, and it's a curse to go in the morning and sit in the vegetable and sell vegetables. That's a tragedy. Similarly, youngsters today, because they're not getting jobs, they're not able to find the right job, they're becoming an entrepreneur. That's not a choice. Right? In my case, I didn't want to be an entrepreneur, but my commitments or whatever miscommunication have driven to where I am. But I'm happy. Whatever you make choices. See, one thing, as adult, you realize you make a choice, you own it. Don't disown your own choice. Like you left your job in the corporate sector, came back and started something on your own. If you don't own it up, lifelong we'll have second thoughts. Am I doing the right thing? So I go back. All these thoughts, you have to discontinue at some point of time and then say, look, I've made this choice. I'm going to live with it. And I'm going to do the best.
So true. And that gives you a lot of courage, self-confidence when you can say that I have to own my choice. It should be my decision, though it is influenced or though I have taken inputs from so many around people, my, mentors or anybody. But ultimately, I have to make it come true. That is so true. And unless that is there, we cannot give our, best to whatever we are doing. We are not open and receptive to learning as well, while we are not owning it up. Very true. Very, very rightly articulated. So, do you think, really, that social impact and the business running, is there any bridge to it? Is it connected? Is it like a person having a bigger purpose or social, thought process would be a better entrepreneur? What's the, a real way to understanding both sides?
Actually, I wrote a piece on it after the last year we did a similar event on February 11th. And at that time, we talked about this concept of doing business with social mindset. See, the entire concept today, business is separate and so CSR is separate. This is a theory which many companies have floated. And in the early part of my life, I didn't think I could separate these two. One is doing business ethically, doing business the right way. It gives you very slow growth. It doesn't give you the growth as fast as you want. But by doing business, for example, let me give an example of what I mean by ethically. I remember about in 2000, we went for a contract with a very big multinational company. They came to India, they came to know about us, and then they called me. And we were supposed to be the recruitment contractor for that company based in Bangalore. Very big company, big opportunity, huge hiring to be done, very good fee structure, the dream scenario. As we started working, one day I get a message from the chairhead saying that come and meet me. And we met him. And he gave me a suggestion that what I will do, I'll try to give you more resumes because they can make you successful. But you have to give part of the money to my wife. I was shocked. I was not. I was a multinational with global standards and all that. So I said, sorry, we don't do this. We are not in the business. And in fact, I cracked a joke. If I really want to make money, and of course, this maybe I hope people don't get offended. But I said, if you want to make money, instead of selling men, I'll sell women. I mean, what business you think I am in, right? When you people come here for a job to me, we don't take money from candidates. But my only job is to make sure people who deserve the job get the job. Anybody comes to me looking for a job, I should make sure I give them a full feedback on how good they are. And if the job fits them, the best person should get the job. You should not be motivated by your other attention. So I refused. And the company, I went and told the management, and they told me that you are overreacting and I don't think we'll take you seriously. We're a global company. 2 years later, they called me, they sacked that guy who told me we didn't listen to you 2 years ago. I had made a lot of money. So this is a classic example. I would have minted money. The second example is a more interesting example. We were hiring for Bihar government when we were supposed to hire about a contract is about 9,000 people over 3 years' time. And you know, government job people are willing to pay money. The running rate at that time was between 50,000 and 1 lakh rupees per job, right? So what was at stake was 90 crores is the money available. We had to do only one thing, which again is not unethical. For example, we heard that in the past, what people used to do, they used to make a final selection list and call those people whom they have already selected and tell them, you give me money, I'll get you a job. But actually, the guy is already in the selection list, right? What is called information asymmetry. I knew, you don't know. So they collected money from the candidate who already got a job. Typically, what happened? Nothing has happened. People who are very totally got the money. So the candidate now has paid 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees to get a job. So again, this incident, we were very, very conscious about it. In fact, there was some bits of some people tried to contact our employees offering money. And we had to change the entire team. And so I think doing business responsibly is absolutely important. And it does not mean you do any social impact. But whatever business you do, don't take shortcuts. Don't try to, what we call crony capitalism. You have some information, therefore you bribe somebody, buy some land. I don't think many of them attracted more interest in my life. The consequence is there. There's also a choice you make, right? Like a choice. Obviously, you could have been 10 times bigger. I would have been easily 10 times bigger. Many of the parties at that time who took all the choices, they were better off than me. So that's the point about how do you, in fact, I wrote that article. There's no point in doing unethical business and spending money in CSR. I would call it a guilt tax. You're doing a guilt tax called CSR. Yes, that would come from the heart. And every enterprise should have ownership of the society we live in. Because I spoke about it in these various forums. Imagine the youth come on the street, like what you're seeing in Delhi and farmers. The next stage is going to be youth of India. They come on the streets and then say, I want jobs. What are you going to do? If 50,000 people block the roads in Hyderabad, we can't. They're not 50,000, they're at least 44% of graduate means you can imagine the size of people on the road. So it is a societal problem which will impact all of us. So we need to be conscious about what we do, how we stay ethical, how do you stay fair to all sets of people, and still you should be sustainable. Obviously, you can't do all of them and not be sustainable. So, for example, in skilling business, we decided from the beginning, how do we be relevant to what you do? We said there are two sides to skilling business. One is supply side. Supply side means go to the government pays you money, set up a training center, train people, and hope for the and try and get them a job. This is supply side. We said we don't want to do this because here the student is not sure what job you'll get. We don't know which employer you'll get. So we said no, we want to make sure we should be on the demand side. So we went to companies and told them, please tell me how many people you are willing to hire, what salary are you going to pay, and I will create that workforce for you and give it to you, provided you pay me the money to train them to mobilize them. So our entire model, and we are probably one of the 3 or 4 in the country in skilling system who are demand side, customer pay, employer paid model. Right? So this is also part of, and we lost 9 crores to reach that stage because first nobody wanted to come to business with me. No employer said, why would I come to you? Because skilling system supplies manpower to me free of cost. Because skilling system is paid by the government. And they're coming to work, they're giving candidates to me free of cost. And it took several years for them to realize that the quality was not there. And then switch back to us. I lost a lot of money. We lost in E2 Academy about 9 crores before we turned. So these are choices. Obviously, so your point is very valid. There is no way you can do unethical practices. Unethical is one side, unfair practice. Unfair means somebody is disadvantaged compared to you, right? Job seeker is disadvantaged because I take money. My employee is disadvantaged because I pay lesser than minimum wages. I pay them much more lower salary than what I do. I live a lifestyle which is disproportionate to my contribution in that business. Right? If the company becomes successful, many of us are contributing, but one person doesn't contribute. The CEO cannot get, say, 40 times the salary of CXO. Many companies, the salaries of CXO and CEOs are so obnoxiously high compared to the entry-level employee. Right? The private sector today has 100 times entry-level employee to top time. Company is not contributing 100 times. So I think these are all unfair practices in my mind. And I think that's something to business has to be fair. And that's what you want to carry at the end of your life. You put down your shoes, look back in the mirror, and then say, how are you doing unfair to anybody? Is there any soul? Is my soul lost in the process of making money?